Relations and functions. We're going to start off with a couple definitions, which are probably familiar to you, but we're going to go through them anyway. The first thing is, what is a relation? A relation is simply a correspondence between two sets. We call the first set the domain, that's typically like our x's, and the second set we call the range, which would be like our y's. And all that's required is that there is a connection between everything that's in that first set to everything that's in the second set. There is a correspondence, a relationship that's demonstrated. Now, a function is similar. We still have a first set of data called the domain, a second set called the range, but here we specify that every member of the domain, remember that's an x, gets exactly one member of the range. So one way to think about it is that each x gets just one y. We're not allowed to repeat an x with a different y value. Every correspondence between two sets is a relation, but that's not necessarily a function. Let's look at a couple ways that we can display these. Okay, this first set, we call this like a mapping because it's taking two sets of numbers. So this is my first set of numbers here, and that would be my domain, and it's showing the relationship between the second set of numbers over here, which would be my range. So if I'd want to write it out in a more familiar way, like ordered pairs, I would show the first ordered pair is -6, 36 right here, and then 6, 36, -3, 9, 3, 9, 0, 0, etc. The question is this correspondence, this relation, a function? Well, yes, it is, because the requirement is that every different domain or x value gets its own y value and only one y value, only one time that it's used. So there's no repeat of the domain or of the x value, right? Then I've got this one here. Some of you are more maybe like into musicals and things like that, so this might be familiar. I've already got them all marked out. I stole it from the book. But we have the composer along with the Broadway musical that they've worked on. So in the case of Marvin Hamlish, he's got a chorus line. Elton John, though, he's got a couple of them that he's mapped to. Claude Michael Schoenberg has a couple, and then Andrew Lloyd Webber, several. So this is definitely not a function because we have three domain items, three composers, that are mapped to more than one element in the range. All right, now one more example here. So what about a set? If I give you a set of people as your domain, the range is a set of doctors, and the correspondence, how we're going to connect them, is going to be we're going to pair up the person with their primary doctor. Is that going to be a function? It's certainly a relation, but is it a function? And my answer would be yes. Why? Because every person is only allowed one primary doctor. You have to choose that for your insurance program, and then you're done. If you want a different one, you have to cancel the one guy and move to the other person. What about members of a band and the sets of instruments? If the correspondence is the instrument that they play. Well, those of you who are more musically inclined probably realize that a lot of people who do play instruments play more than one. So in this case, no, a member of a band in the domain could certainly play more than one particular instrument, which is the range element. So that would not necessarily be a function, probably not.